Hi, how are you doing? My name is Rohit and I'll be breaking down the ninth match of this year's IPL, which saw the Rajasthan Royals taking on the Delhi Capitals in Jaipur. The end result was the Rajasthan Royals winning by 12 runs and extending the home team's winning streak to open this year's IPL to 9 consecutive games. I don't know if that's ever happened before, but it's honestly kind of impressive how the home team has won each of the first 9 games so far this season. With that slight tangent aside, let's get into the game. The Delhi Capitals won the toss and elected to bowl first, putting in the Rajasthan Royals to bat, and they were off to a horrendous start. They were well below run a ball for the vast majority of the first 10 overs of their innings, including losing 3 wickets in that process and 3 very big hitters as well. Yashasvi Jaiswal, Josh Butler, and Sanju Samson are already all in the dugout for minimal returns. And in that position, now you start to think, okay, are we seeing the first phase of the two-faced Jaipur Stadium where it starts as a very good bowling pitch, you struggle to score, and then next thing you know, it becomes easier and it becomes an easier batting surface. You start to question if that's what we're seeing. But what rescued this innings, in my opinion, was the Rajasthan Royals promoting Ravichandran Ashwin to number 5 instead of his normal number 7, number 8 slot to help stabilize the innings alongside Riyan Parag, who in years past was normally used as a number 6, number 7 batsman himself, but they've promoted him to that number 4 slot this year, and he's excelled. He made a very mature knock of 46 in the first match for Rajasthan, and in this match, he top scored with 84. And he carried his bat through the innings after coming to the crease. And that's a very mature knock from him to keep the Royals afloat, to make sure they had one player at the crease who could still hit the ball. And so going back to promoting Ashwin, Ashwin scored a pretty quick 29 from 19, which put some wind under the Rajasthan Royals' sails. Because before that, they were well below run a ball. But after Ashwin started hitting the ball, that freed up some of the tension that was in the Royals dugout, on the field for the Royals, all of it. They started getting the run rate back up to run a ball, six runs and over, then up to 7, then to 8. Ultimately, they finished with 185, which is over 9 runs and over. So there was a massive acceleration at the back end of the innings. They scored some close to 120 runs in the back 10. And a lot of that has to do with the start that Ashwin gave to really jumpstart the innings back up, and then Riyan Parag carrying his bat through and playing a very good knock. Dhruv Jindal also contributes with 20 from 12. But again, the story for Rajasthan and the key positive for Rajasthan should be Riyan Parag's maturity in this IPL, his ability to play those mature knocks, to play those types of innings that allow him and his team to post big totals and to survive even when the top order struggles. Because last year, it was all just Jaiswal, Butler, and Samson. You didn't really hear too much about Rajasthan's middle order unless it was the back-end hitting of Dhruv Jindal and Shimran Hetmeyer. This wasn't the case. Jaiswal, Butler, and Samson were gone for cheap and gone early, so someone had to step up. And Parag stepped up and stepped up well, and he was deservedly named the player of the match for that. Going into Delhi's innings, Delhi started very positively. Mitch Marsh and David Warner, who ended up top scoring with 49 from 34, put on a very strong partnership to open the innings for Delhi, and they set a platform that the rest of the Capitals team should have been able to capitalize off of. But they just couldn't. Once Marsh went out, immediately in that same over, Ricky Bui also goes out, so you get a bit of a small repair job coming up between David Warner and Rishabh Pant to get the innings back on track, and that takes up a lot of time. And it's sort of a hat-on-a-hat sort of situation. Once you get one wicket, then another one falls, then you sort of build up that momentum as a bowling side, and the Rajasthan Royals use that momentum to stem the flow of runs, because that's very important in a run chase, to stem the flow of runs, because that allows you to keep yourselves in the game, and it creates more pressure on the batting lineup because you see that required run rate start to go up and up and up. Rishabh Pant ended up scoring 28 from 26, which is barely above run a ball. And in a chase where your required rate is around 9s, that's not really ideal. But after Warner and Pant also go out, the Capitals start to flounder again. But Tristan Stubbs brought them back 44 runs at a strike rate of around 185, 190. So he was almost at 2 runs a ball and really put the team on his back towards the back end of the innings. Unfortunately, it just wasn't enough in the end. The positive for Delhi should be that they have some back-end hitting now with Tristan Stubbs. And that's going to be very important as you get towards the death overs. You need that sort of back-end hitting to really get you from a modest total to a formidable total, or maybe from a formidable total to a nigh insurmountable total. So those small margins will start to add up as the season goes along, especially when you get into the later stages of the season where you have net run rate come into factor, which could determine playoff spots as it has many years before. So all those things will start to add up soon, but this is not the time to worry about that if you're a fan of either team. Right now, the main focus should be about getting points, and Rajasthan Royals, 2 for 2, 4 points on the board, and that's a good start for the season. The Delhi Capitals, you can't really say the same for them. They're struggling, but sometimes that's just how these tournaments go, and for all we know, the Delhi Capitals could rebound and then rattle off a few wins, and they're right back into the thick of it. But yeah, that's it from me. As usual, please like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, thank you. I'll be back for the next one. Have a good one.